everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Say What's Real TV. This review is for Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 6, Episode 4, Face the Fire. So we open up the episode exactly where we left off last week with Pam trying to tell Zach, Andy, and Fatima what happened at the salon. So she's sniffing and snotting, hyperventilating, trying to get it out. Fatima's trying to tell her, just breathe, just breathe. And Zach, he's like, hurry up, Pam, what happened, like, get it the hell out. So Pam was taking too long, so she did end up telling them that it was a fire. And then she says that the fireman said that she died in there. Like, Pam, he never told you that Karen died in there, girl. Why are you way over there to the firm line? So Zach, he bolts up out the door like, I'm going to the salon. So of course, Fatima looking at him like, really? Like, okay. You know, the right thing to do would have been for him to be like, baby, look, I got to go to the salon and see what's going on. And, I mean, everybody knows he has love for Karen. This lady is carrying his unborn child, potentially, or whatever. So, I mean, nobody really would be upset with that. So we get it. And anyway, she had to really console these two because Pam and Andy over here distraught. So she offers to drive them over there to the salon to see what's going on. So Fatima, she's trying to get Pam and Andy over there to the salon. And Pam, she's in the back just trying to muster up some tears instead, you know, trying to struggle, cry and get it out. And she brings up that Aaron is blaming her. She keeps saying that. So Fatima questions like, wait, Aaron was there? So Pam says that he was in the car with her. So I don't know if she meant he was on the phone because we saw them on the phone. So I guess that's what she meant. I don't know. Because when she got out the car and was talking to the firefighter, Aaron popped up out of nowhere real fast. So I thought that was quite weird. But anyway, so Fatima asks Pam, how do you know for sure that it's Karen? Pam says that because her car is parked out front. So Andy says, Fatima, hurry up, please. And Fatima was like, I'm driving, Andy. I'm, trying to be real nice and, try to keep her calm. And I'm like, girl, I would have been like, girl, you're going to have to pipe down. Who you think you talking to? I know you a little distraught and upset right now, but don't be talking to me all crazy because I'm not going to kill me for you, okay? I'll get you there. But I mean, Fatima, she tried to be nice to her boss. And she's like, I'm going to get you there. And messing behind Pam in the backseat talking about not as fast as Zach. You so shady. You supposed to be so upset and so into your feelings about Karen, but you still found time to get that out and make Fatima aware that her man left her in the dust. So Andy brings up calling Mama Lisa, and Pam says that she wanted to call, but Aaron and his antics told her don't call, just wait, until they got more information. And Andy was questioning like, well, what more information is there to need? So Pam keeps bringing up the fact that Aaron blames her for everything. And Andy, of course, asks her why. And she tells her about the curlers that she left on. So Andy kind of gets upset about that and tells her, oh, so you mean to tell me, you burned my best friend's salon down? So, her anxiety is going back up. So now she says, I got to call the girls. Fatima said, well, I'll call them for you. So Fatima, she calls Danny and basically told her, we need you to get down there to the salon. Meet us down there. Danny, she got to ask 1,001 questions like what for, why, what did he do now? Is Andy over there crying? Andy had to tell her, just get your behind over there. And she's over there like, what the heck is going on? So we go over there to the hospital where Logan goes to see Q. And basically he's chastising him about being caught on surveillance in Maurice's car and pulling out the gun. But Q sitting in the bed trying to make it seem like he was innocent and that Maurice shot him. Logan had to shut all of that down and told him, look, do you want to go back to jail? Because he can have his little plea deal rescinded and all that. So now Q is apologizing. I'm sorry. And Logan like, look, I need you to straighten up because he got his promotion from the whole bank robbery thing. And he don't want Q to mess this up because Q is his witness. I guess to try to get, Maurice and Sabrina arrested. I'm still confused about the whole bank robbery thing. I really have no idea what's going on with that, to be honest. And half the time, I really don't even be caring. But he basically is telling Q he needs to go back to work. Q trying to act like, oh, my shoulder hurt, is hurting. Logan like, look, I already talked to the nurse. She said you are fine, so you need to get your ass up and go to work. And then he told him, look, he needs him to do that because it'll make him look good in front of the jury. And he also mentioned to Q that he found that he had marijuana in his system. And I'm like, that was all? Because when he had that little party up in Maurice's apartment, he was doing more than some weed. So, I mean, but anyway, he was adamant about him needing to get his butt up and go back to work. We go over there to Sabrina's house where Bayo is bringing her back home from their little lunch date or whatever. So we see she makes it back safe and sound even after leaving her purse and phone in the house like a fool. So he's thanking her, telling her she has the beautiful smile and this and that and the other. She tries to bring up the whole court thing with the money, I guess, and he doesn't really want to talk about it. So Maurice, he knocks and he comes in. He sees Bayo and automatically go into Maurice mode where he's like, oh, is this my African prince? He's thanking him, trying to, show that he's grateful for him giving the money and all of that. Bayo is like, well, I did it for Sabrina. Like, kind of rude, I feel. And, Maurice, he kept his cool. He like, well, thanks for the both of us or whatever. He was like, is there anything else you want? And Maurice started joking with him, like calling him Prince. And he was like, yeah, I love your music. He said, my name is Bayo. Straight face. Like all that skinning and grinning he was doing a few minutes ago with, pretending with Sabrina. We're seeing the true colors of Bayo when he's talking to Maurice. So he's like, look, Sabrina, either he goes or I go. And Sabrina like, what? And Maurice looking like, well, what's going on here? Like, okay, I know what's going on. So Maurice tells him, look, I don't want Sabrina. I like Peter. And Bayo basically told Maurice he was disgusting. So we already had an inkling that Bayo was homophobic. Because before he agreed to give the money to Sabrina, he backpedaled and said that, Maurice was a bad person because he was hanging around with people who would rob banks, which that's not what he really was talking about. He meant he was a bad person because of his sexual preference. So Bayo tells Sabrina he'll give her a call and he leaves. Maurice tells Sabrina, look, your little friend is homophobic. She's trying to make excuses. She's like, I don't think so. No, maybe he didn't mean it like that. Maurice is like, look, he called me disgusting. If you can't hear that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, maybe you're the one with the problem. So she starts apologizing. Sorry that happened to you. And Maurice basically told her, look, don't apologize for him because, he's just ignorant. So Sabrina asks Maurice, why is he at her house anyway? So Maurice tells her that he came back to tell her what happened with Q at the hospital. So she basically didn't want to hear it. So they go back and forth because he claims he's going to get a confession. She keeps telling him, leave that man alone. He's not going to get the confession. So she just so happens to look at her phone and sees that she has a whole bunch of missed calls. So Maurice is like, well, what's going on? She said, I got a bunch of missed calls from Danny. He tells her, who, Yuck Mouth Danny? So Sabrina calls Danny back and Danny tells her, you need to get down to the salon as soon as possible. Sabrina asks her, like, what's up? What's going on? And Danny tells her she don't know. Just get there. So they hang up and Maurice is asking, like, well, what happened? What's the problem? And she says, I don't know. Something's going on with Karen. I need to get to the salon quick and in a hurry. So Maurice tells her, look, I'll go down there with you. So the two of them, they head down there. So we head back over there to the salon where Aaron is still fussing at the fireman because he's not getting the answers that he wants. Zach comes skipping up off the curb asking what's happening, what's going on, is Karen in there? They tell him that the medical examiner is on his way. Then Andy comes running up, what is happening, what is happening? So Gary tries to calm them down and tell them that a body is in there. They're just waiting on more information. Zach is like, he got to know what's going on. He starts panicking, yelling out Karen's name. So then Zach, he tries to run up in the little burnt, boarded up building, but Gary and Aaron hold him back. Then he starts pacing, talking about he can't believe this. So Aaron, he wants all the smoke. Aaron says, oh, so now you want to act like you so concerned after all this time when it's too late. You want to act like you care. So Zach felt some kind of way, and they getting ready to get into it. Gary has to stand in between them, and Andy starts yelling for them to stop it, stop it. You know, you guys are not helping the situation. Andy over there trying to give us her best little Annalise Keaton because she got snot running all down her nose and stuff. I said, look at Andy trying to do a Viola Davis. All the while, Fatima is over there taking notes, and she has not said one word this entire scene. So now the rest of the gang is trickling on in. Danny shows up next, then Sabrina and Maurice. Everyone's asking the same questions of the day. Where is Karen and what happened? So, of course, Aaron, not skipping a beat, says Pam left the curlers on. Pam over there crying, trying to state her case, swearing that she did turn him off. She swears she turned him off. So then out of the blue, we see Preston. He goes straight to Danny. He asks her if she's okay, and Danny, for the first time ever, admits that she is not okay. So then here comes Calvin, damn near knocking over Pam and Fatima, busting through the crowd just to get to Sabrina talking about, I got your message. And I'm like, when did Sabrina even have time to message you? And what exactly did the message say? Because when Maurice brought up, they think it's a dead body in the salon or something, he talking about who? I'm like, why would you be asking who if you got a message? Like, what did your message say? What did you think was going on? That you came running up here all frantic, knocking people over. So the medical examiner, they finally get there. They make room for them to go in the building. Danny asks, has anybody called Mama Lisa? So Andy says that they can't do that yet. And Danny was like, well, somebody got to do it. Andy gonna look at Sabrina, and Sabrina said, don't look at me. I was cracking up off Sabrina. So Zach says he'll call her, and Aaron was like, don't do that yet. Like, there's no need to get her all worked up and worried before we know what's going on. And Zach tells him, look, you don't know nothing about this family. So, of course, Fatima looking at him like, you know, feeling like the bullets might be hitting her or whatever, because it's like Aaron and Fatima are kind of like on the outskirts of this whole thing right here. And, you know, Zach, he calls Mama Lisa anyway. She does not answer, so he leaves her a message. So the medical examiner, he comes out and asks who is next of kin. So the girls, they all yell in unison, they all are. So he says that it's confirmed that the victim is deceased. So everyone, that's all they hear, deceased, and everyone starts bawling, boo-hoo, crying, even though I don't see any tears, dropping to their knees, just totally distraught. You know, the guys, they're comforting the women and all this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. We already know that the person inside is deceased. The body's been there since last night. So we already know that. Why are you guys in the group not asking the right questions? We need to know the identity of the body, sir. Was it a male or female? Was there ID on the person so you can tell us who it could have been? That's what we need to know. So while everyone is still in their feelings trying to process the news of Karen, here she comes walking out of nowhere, you know, shocking the crowd. So Andy is like, what is happening here? And Karen was like, you see what's happening, as she points to the salon and looking at Pam like, you know, she mad at Pam because she blaming Pam for burning the salon down. And Zach, he is like, oh my God. He runs up to Karen and give her the biggest hug ever. Like, he is so relieved that she is okay, with Fatima standing right there with that same look on her face she's had the entire time. So Karen, she seems to be a bit taken aback by the way Zach is acting, like, you know, where all this coming from. But she doesn't resist the hugs, and she damn sure hug him right back with Aaron standing right there. So Zach still is holding on to Karen real tight, like he don't want to let her go. So she's trying to tell him that she's okay. He's rubbing all in her hair. She's rubbing all on the side of his face. And I'm like, what is really going on? They hug like 2-3 different times. going in for a fourth time. Andy them had to get in between him so they can get a damn hug. But he also promises Karen that he's going to help rebuild her salon.
Hell no, to the no. Hell to the no.
So Karen says that a girl got to almost die in order to get all this love. And Zach has to let her know, look, we all love you, and getting ready to go in for that hug. So the girls, they get their little hug in, and Pam trying to get a little hand in there. And Karen, she's still fussing at her about, the whole salon thing. So Aaron was like, well, what happened? So Karen tells the story of how she went to check on the salon, saw all of the smoke, ran inside like a fool, passed out. Lewis came in there and snatched her up, took her to the ER, got checked out. She's fine. Then he must have taken her home so she can change clothes and then brought her back to the salon. And now here we are. So Pam is like, oh, thank you, Lewis. I knew you'd come in handy one day. And Lewis looking at Pam with his nose all tooted up like, shit, Pam. Like, I didn't understand the little dialogue between the two of them. But Pam was like, well, who in there? And Lewis was like, I don't know. So Karen then finds out that there is indeed a body inside. So she calls the medical examiner over and asks him about it. He was like, we're not quite sure. So then Lewis volunteers information saying that he was handing out food to the homeless in the back and that it could be one of those guys. So the medical examiner was like, well, that's where the fire started, by the back door, and spread to the ceiling. And he did tell them that it was an older guy that they found and they'll be moving the body out soon, but they still needed the salon for investigating. He also told Karen she can call her insurance company, I guess the next day or whatever, but Karen looking crazy in the face because Karen does not have any insurance on the salon. And I'm like, I know you lying. So Pam done called her out on it like, girl, you don't have no insurance? So she like, Pam, don't start with me. It's real funny how people get humbled real quick. Pam said, to be clear, the man said that the fire started in the back of the salon and it was not the curlers. Aaron turned around talking about, it's fine, it's fine. So the sister circle, they're ready to go because they're having heart palpitations and they just can't take no more. Karen, she wants us to hang around, but they're telling her, no, girl, come on, we need a drink. We got to go. She like, I can't even drink. All the guys are still standing over there just looking, wondering where they're going, talking about what about us. Danny like, what about y'all? Like, now, Andy, you real foul, because why you didn't offer Pam a ride back to her car at the law firm? You know the girl was in the car with you and Fatima. So the guys were all standing around talking about them being kicked out of the club. And Pam says, well, I know who will be kicked out, and she's talking to Zach, so she had to let Zach know that it was real foul how he was acting all over Karen and how he bolted over there from the doggone firm like you saying, and that, Fatima was staring at him the whole time. So he gonna tell her, oh, well, you were supposed to be grieving. Why you looking at Fatima? And then gonna say, well, since you minding everybody's business, where did she go? Like, first of all, the fact that you didn't even know she left is a problem. That's it right there. The fact that you did not even know the girl left is a problem. So Pam told him that she called an Uber when Karen popped up. So now he's standing there like, oh shit. Pam basically told him he really done messed up. He really messed up today. Preston all in the background talking about, look, Zach, man, I'm sorry. Preston already know what time it is. He already know Fatima is not getting ready to play with Zach. So Pam, she turns to Preston and say, you ain't no better. Preston is looking confused like, what make you say that? And she say, none of y'all for that matter, none of y'all worth a hill of beans. And they all looking crazy. And she was like, one of y'all take me to my car. I'm like, Pam, how you gonna talk noise and then need something? Like, where they do that at? So they looking crazy. And Preston says, look like she need a ride share. And they start walking off. They like, no, I got my Reese. And they just walk their own separate ways. Lewis still standing out there amongst the guys. And he looked at Pam. She talking about he's still a person too. I don't know what Pam was talking about. I guess she talking about the homeless guy. I got to pay attention to Pam and Lewis. Something was up with that. And Lewis said, y'all on y'all own. And he left her behind standing there. So I don't know how Pam got home. So I guess it's later on that night. We see Aaron driving. So he calls Pam, and somehow she made it home, but he calls her to apologize for accusing her of burning down a salon. He says that he knows he was hard on her and he just really wanted her to know that he was sorry, which, he did the right thing by apologizing, so that's good. But he should have apologized outside the salon in front of everybody the way he accused her in front of everybody. But it's neither here nor there now, so he did apologize, so that was fine. And they have this long, drawn-out conversation back and forth with Pam and her usual antics. But Pam basically was like she's really upset with him still because now Karen is mad at her, about the whole accusations and all of this and that. And she keeps calling Aaron fine and cute and all and this and that. And I'm like, why we keep having all these conversations and screen time with Pam and Aaron? I mean, is something going to be going on later on? Karen going to dump him for good and he going to move over there to Pam? Like, what's really happening? So we see Fatima and Angela having drinks, and she's asking if she's stupid because every time she turn around, Zach is doing something. Like it's becoming a thing to where it's too much because it's what does Zach do now type of thing. So she tells Angela all about Karen's salon burning down, how they thought she was dead, but she's fine now, and how Zach just basically left her to run by her side. And she felt some kind of way. She also mentioned how even after Karen was found alive and it was okay, that Zach was holding her as if she wasn't standing there, looking into her eyes like he was still in love. And she just said she felt some kind of way. So Angela said she was going to play devil's advocate and let her know, like, look, they were together for 3 years, this and that and the other, and you have to remember how you were with Ian. But Fatima seems to think that it was a difference because she wasn't in love with Ian. Now, I was confused at the comment about not being in love with Ian because that's not the story that we got from before. So Angela asked her, did she talk to Zach about it yet? And she said no. She didn't want to come across, as if she didn't really give a damn that the girl had died or not. And Angela had to ask her, well, do you give a damn? And she was like, yes, I care. So Angela told her, it was good that she took the time to try to process her feelings and get, calm down and think about it or whatever before she stepped to Zach with how she felt about the situation. Now, with her talking to Angela, she says that the entire situation made her feel like he abandoned her. And Angela basically kind of let it be known that she has previous abandonment issues. So I guess we'll hear about that more later. So we go over to the penthouse and the girls, they're drinking and using Danny's pen all in front of Karen like she not pregnant. And then I just thought about something. The whole time they was at the salon when Karen popped back up, not one person asked her about the baby. Was the baby okay? Like, what did they say? I know she said she was fine, but nobody actually verbally said, is the baby okay? I thought that was interesting. So the girls, they're just sitting around loving on each other and saying how they do not want to experience that ever again. It was scary. It was sad. They told Karen, they apologized. Not really apologized, but told her, sorry that she lost everything or whatever. And, Sabrina made a comment that maybe they should all die together. She was just joking, but I understood what she was trying to say. So no one is left behind to mourn the other person. Like, it'll be really sad like that. So she said she just don't want them to be apart. So leave it up to Danny to be the messy one to bring up how fast Zach was running to Karen. And she knows that Karen noticed. And Karen was like, yeah, I noticed. So she was like, well, I also noticed how Fatima was looking and I kind of felt bad for her and she didn't say a word and this and that. So Andy, she's over there trying to put the little fire out that Danny was over there trying to start. And she was like, no, Zach has moved on, this and that and the other. And Karen making a little smart comments again. Oh, why? Because that's your little friend. I'm like, oh, here we go with all this again. So basically, Danny is putting a battery in Karen's back because now Karen is talking about, oh, tragedy will make you show your true feelings. So Danny, she wanted to keep talking about Zach and Fatima, but Andy didn't want to talk about it. She kept changing the subject. She asked Karen, did she call her mom? And Karen said no. Now, why you haven't called your mom, Karen? I'm lost at that. You lost your salon. You had to go to the hospital. You was caught in a fire, but you didn't call Mama Lisa. Why, girl? That's crazy. So anyway, Andy's still trying to change the subject. So she told Danny, like, what's more important we could talk about is why was Calvin and Preston there? And Danny was like, oh, well, I'll tell you. So she brings up Mindy and how he left Mindy at the hotel to come talk to her. Like that was some, big deal, something to be bragging about. But what I didn't like was the fact that why didn't you tell them about Jonah in your house? Why did you not tell them, girl? Jonah will be back. He is coming back for that ass. And you need to be prepared and be ready. Julie warned you last week that the man is crazy and he's dangerous. So you need to be telling your friends what is going on. I don't like that. You sitting up there worried about Zach and everything else. You need to be talking about what's going on with you. Every time you got a situation with Jonah, you sweep it under the rug as if it never even happened. I mean, it just happened last night. And Sabrina, you never did answer the question about why Calvin was there. Not that we really care, but you didn't say a word about it. So Karen says she has a subject change and tells them when she was in the hospital, her doctor came in there and told her who her baby father was. I'm like, child, please. How, girl? Anyway, and that's where the episode ends. So what did you guys think of this week's episode? Drop down below and let me know what your thoughts and theories are. Do you think Karen knows who her baby daddy is this early in the game? And also, what are your thoughts on the way Zach acted with Karen down to the salon in front of Fatima? As always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.